Do you remember that client of mine that came in with really damaged, highlighted blonde hair and some poorly installed hair extensions? Well, today she's back and it's been about 10 months since I first featured her on my YouTube channel, and I wanted to show you my go-to technique on how I've been highlighting her hair and overall her entire progress of where we started and where we are at today. I'm not only excited to show you my highlighting technique, but we're also going to be doing a mini move up hair extension install today, so that way you can really see the underside of her hair, the growth, and how healthy her hair is growing in. Now, before we get into this video though, I want to make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and share this video with a friend. Now let's get right into it. So about 10 months ago, this is how my client came in. You can see she had some poorly installed hair extensions and they were creatively placed so that way she could potentially have more versatility with her styling, but you can see it created a really big hole right here. And this is what we finished with right after the entire service. So now in this video, I'm gonna get you a little caught up on exactly where we are at today. Over the last 10 months, we've been really babying her hair, making sure we're taking really good care of it, and we still have 2 rows of hair extensions going on, but you can see on the underside we have lots of new growth. This is all areas where we have not highlighted, have not touched, just so we can really get her hair back to a healthy state. And the only areas that we've been highlighting and touching up have been on the top and the sides. The thing that's most important to me is to make sure that the integrity of her hair is there and that we're getting back her density, because she did have lots of breakage from her last service before she ever came to me, as well as postpartum hair loss. So we kind of had a double whammy. So for today's appointment, we're going to be moving up these extensions. Now it's been 6 weeks since she's had her hair done. And then we're also going to go in and highlight a lot of this dark depth that we got going on, especially on the top crown. Now, aside from all of this new growth that we got going on and everything that we need to touch up, we also have some fragile ends to be aware of. Now, if you want to see the full transformation and makeover that we initially did, make sure you check out that video in the description down below. For this project, I'm going to be using Danger Jones powder lightener at a 1:2 mixing ratio with 20 volume developer. Now, before, what I was using on her was something a lot more gentle, and that was because we had the potential of overlap of lightener hitting those really fragile ends. But today we have so much new growth, and I feel like her hair is in such a healthier state that we can go in with something that's going to give us more of that power lift, but also still that protection, because this is formulated with bonding complex. I'm starting out by highlighting her hairline, and because she wants to be primarily blonde, I want to make sure that we're for sure making that hairline really, really light, because she does like to wear her hair up. Now you can see we have her extensions still in because we are going to be doing a move up a little bit later. However, we just want to make sure that we're lightening those areas underneath the extension. So we're actually not going to be removing them this time. And usually my technique for this is just highlighting back to back with little to no hair in between these foils. And then a little added tip is I do layer on some Olaplex onto the end sometimes on areas where I don't really want too much overlap. But you can see she has lots of depth going on and lots of dark. So I am dragging this lightener down just a little bit. And because this lightener lifts so well, but also protects at the same time, I'm not too worried about additional breakage. I have a total of 9 foils for the bottom hairline, and then I go ahead and skip right to the top section, which is right above the top weft. Now, to save some time, I am going in with diagonal slices as well as horizontal slices because I want maximum coverage going on with this application, because again, we are working with pretty dark hair and slices will give you the most coverage. So much different than what we did to that bottom section where we were doing weaves. This top section, because this is going to veil over her entire head, these slices again are just going to give us maximum coverage. The overall goal with this first section here is just mimicking that halo section from the extensions to make sure we do have that coverage, because we don't want to have any holes of darkness that is going to be able to tell like the difference between her natural hair versus the extension hair. You can see that all of my subsections are approximately 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch wide, and I'm taking the lightener pretty high up here. And again, you can see that I am dragging that lightener down in the areas where it's needed. Once I get to the top section, I'm still taking slices, but I like to go in with diagonals. Now, if you want to know the difference between diagonals versus horizontal versus vertical, I have an amazing course built inside Airbnb University that you should definitely check out, plus a ton more of hair foiling tutorials, color correction tutorials, extension tutorials, social media, and business. I'm going to put the link for that information down below. Since this was the first time that I was using Danger Jones Lightener on my client, I did want to give you a little tip. Now, this lightener does swell a little bit, and this is why it's so important to get close to the root but not all the way to the root. This is how you can get bleeding, and I know a lot of stylists struggle with bleeding, so if you are somebody that does struggle with that, make sure that you're checking your mixing ratio as well as your application and not getting it too close and allowing for a little bit of wiggle room for that swell factor. Now, to finish off this top section, you can see it kind of created this fanning motion towards the top, so I started more diagonal and now I'm finishing at a horizontal, and I do this by creating little micro pizza slices in the interior. And again, I'm just kind of picking this hair out and just making sure that I'm dragging the lightener down where it's needed. Then I move towards the front, and again, I'm mimicking that hairline, taking really tiny baby weaves. I even like chopped up these foils really tiny so that way it was a little bit more comfortable for that application. And I just basically did a lot of back-to-back highlights, again with very little hair in between. This is just my personal technique that I like to use, but I think mimicking the hairline is really important because this is how you're going to get a really seamless blend, especially if they do wear their hair back exactly how, like my client, that's something that's really important to her, is being able to put it in a ponytail and still have a really pretty and seamless look. Another really great tip is if you are struggling with bleeding is I like to place my brush more vertical and then do this brushing motion to get it really close to the scalp if you are doing weaving. But generally when I'm doing more of a slice, I just allow for that little extra wiggle room, like I mentioned before, for that swelling. You'll also notice that I do a lot of tri-folding, and that's because I don't want those ends that don't have any lightener on them to touch that top area of the foil where there is bleach lightener. Now you can see on the top, I'm finishing off in a diagonal section, which essentially will create a triangular section at the very top. So this placement is going to give us a lot of coverage because we're getting the best of both worlds from that vertical and horizontal placement. And since we're working more closely towards the top of the head, I decided to opt out of the weaves and use slices instead. And because we've been highlighting her hair for the last 10 months, especially on this top crown section, I am picking out those really highlighted fragile pieces, making sure that we're protecting them and only highlighting the areas where it's needed. Once I get to the very top, I'm basically just completing this triangle section, leaving as little hair as possible on the top. And you can see we have lots of foils on foils on foils. I've already started to let her process, and I went ahead and removed some of those foils because she was lifting pretty quickly, and I'm absolutely loving this lift that we got. We got a nice solid level 9 lift out of her really dark hair, and I think her overall goal is just to really be looking like as much of a natural blonde as possible. Once her foils are removed, I decided to go in with a hair painting Scandinavian hairline technique. Now this is just going to carefully highlight and brighten the hairline area because again, when she pulls her hair back, she likes to make it look as blonde as possible. Now while her hairline was processing, I went ahead and mixed up her base break formula, which is Kenra Studio Stylist Express 9A with equal parts of 10 volume developer. For her mids to ends formula, I'm going to be using Danger Jones 10.12 and mixing that up at a 1:1 mixing ratio with its dedicated developer. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I love doing a base break, and she is a perfect candidate for that because not only did we get her really blonde, but we also still have a lot of these dark areas that we want to lightly brighten with also giving a little bit of a shadow effect. So once I got that on the roots, after just 5-10 minutes or so, I went ahead and dragged that demi-permanent down and processed for an additional 15 minutes so we could get a really cool effect. Once our toner was all done, I 100% dried her hair, and this is the perfect time for us to go ahead and move up her extensions. Number one, the hair is 100% clean, and this is going to allow us to open up the bead, remove all of that hair fallout, debris that just kind of got stuck inside of that silicone bead, guide it out, and then move it up. Now, anytime I'm doing a move up, it's really important that you do the move up and move up that silicone bead onto clean hair. There's nothing worse than moving up a silicone bead onto dirty hair or hair that has excess product or debris. This is exactly why we wash the hair first and then proceed with the move up appointment, so that way all of that excess product buildup has been broken up, and it makes it so much easier for us to go in with the comb and release all of that gunk that gets stuck inside. I finished up her look with a 1 1/4 inch Marcel iron curls, and now we're just doing the finishing touches, making sure everything blends seamlessly. Now, overall, I'm obsessed with this look. We gave her a really cool canvas, which is exactly what she was wanting. We still have a long ways to go though on her hair health and journey, and our overall goal is to get her to a point where she doesn't need the extensions to have the long hair of her dreams. And here's the final result. You can see we got a really bright and cool light reflection out of this look. I'm totally obsessed with how blonde we got her and how dark she started off with, and then also just the hair journey, how much healthier her hair is, and I'm really excited to see her grow this out so she doesn't need the extensions anymore. But I would love to know what you think about it down below. Now, I really hope you enjoyed this hair tutorial, and if you did, please give this video a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe, and if you like videos like these but want more education sent right to your inbox, be sure to head on over to MirellaManelli.com and sign up for my newsletter. And if you're a hairstylist looking to elevate their skills and business, you're going to want to check out Airbnb University. It's where confidence behind the chair starts right here, and all you have to do to sign up or get on the email list is go to airbnbuniversity.com. And like always, if you want more hair tutorials, be sure to check out my other videos right here on my YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next one.